All right. HEX foodies live stream, group live stream right here. What is going on? I don't even know today's date. Today's date, the 28th of December. I just went to the coffee shop and two women were out front and they were bitching about our school system. And I was like, heck yeah. Let me drop the thing in the chat. I want to... Oh, come on. Hide that. Invite. Copy the link. It's copied into Telegram chat. Boom, baby. Hello, new members. Welcome. I hope my audio is coming in fine. And maybe Mutton will come on. And Finbear. Come on, Finbear. His name is different. He's got like 3 names. Ooh. Okay, so yesterday afternoon, I read a book. And I was so excited. Hey, Hex Cantoni. Let's go. Pump it up. Yesterday, I read a book. Guess what book it was? What is DeFi? HEX. Guide to HEX. Your complete guide to get paid every day the DeFi way. That's a pretty good title. I do not know how to say this name. Joachim Christensen? I'm not sure. So thank you so much for making this book. It's ready to order on Amazon. It's made. Is the word the sequence of words made to order? Look, it was made on Christmas Eve this year, which is probably the day I ordered it on Amazon. Yo, my son got... What? He got shot in his eye with a Nerf gun? Man, how do you remedy that as a parent? That's what Finbear says. I'm sorry, Finbear. I wasn't supposed to read that out loud. Sorry, man. Alright, so I've invited Mutton in a private message. Finbear got to me in a private message. And in this book, he does a pretty good job. The author does a pretty good job of getting you into like what is crypto and how to think about these things. My big thing is telling people like, hey, prepare your mind for crypto, prepare yourself for the wild, wild west, understand what's going on. What's up, Benjamin? Hey, man, you're on. What's going
on? Oh, man, I lost my coffee.
Oh, thanks for reminding me.
Hey.
What do you got going on lately?
Oh, I made this hat.
Cool. What's on the very top of it? Is that a thing to make everything come together?
So on the top, there's 2 leather pieces. These are for a saddle. And then there's a leather string. It's tied in there. There's a little hole in the center, and then you can put feathers or horsehair or whatever for decoration. Or there's like 16 different hats that they each have their own purpose, so it's kind of crazy. But
Okay, to identify yourself within society.
but this is more like Mongol because I wanted to experiment with felt, so I was like, yeah, I'll make a felt hat.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, trying to be like you, Davin. Got that
yeah.
voice.
Well, as long as I keep my spine warm, then I won't be shivering from the spine, and the rest of my body can be comfortable.
So I like it because, like, for mobility purposes, my core is warm, but I have mobility to ride horses or do whatever. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I saw that that video you posted the other day. Was that you on top of a horse, or was that a different? Was that a wild horse?
So
That's not wild. That was one of yours.
my family, there was something happened to the mom. She got poached. Somebody shot her, and then my friend's nephew, he called me. He's like, "Hey, we got a wild horse." So I said, "Oh man," he said, "Come get it. It's on the mountain." So I met him halfway. That horse was the size of a small dog, and here I bottle fed it for a whole year, and now I'm able to ride it bareback. But by summer, I'll be able to put a saddle on it.
Okay, yeah, because it looked a little bit small.
Yeah, he was really small, bro. He was like the size of a puppy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So, you already have the saddle ready?
The saddle won't fit on him. I have another horse. The
Here, wait.
saddle fits on her, but he's
Here
too
comes
small.
Roger Herbalist. What's up? So you say the saddle is small?
Oh, the saddle is too big for the little pony, so he can only ride him bareback.
Mm.
It's a lot more difficult to ride with no saddle, though. I fall off a lot.
I saw those ties. Did you see that, Rogue? Did you see that that video he posted where like he's got like nylon ties or something wrapped
Oh,
around that horse?
it's just a baling twine. I just have it wrapped
Okay.
around its neck, and that's what I'm holding on to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how's the weather up there, guys?
Cold.
Y'all are almost in the same place. Okay. It's warm down here.
Dang.
I'd bet it's like high 70s.
We're gonna come visit you, hey?
Yeah, yeah. Come on. I've got plans. I've got 2 mattresses inside my house. I'm gonna stack them above each other.
I'm a little more north. It's in the 40s Fahrenheit up this way.
40s. Wow.
It's like 30, 40 degrees.
How's my mic doing? I wanted to jump in and say hey, but I want my mic to be working.
It's good.
It's good. I can hear you. Yeah.
Good. How you brothers doing? Good to see you, Davin and Benjamin.
You as well.
Is that how it's just Benjamin Mutton?
Yeah.
Good to meet you. Good to meet you. I see your posts on the Telegram channel and excited about this meetup. I got some details. I don't know how much you're able to divulge, but I'd sure love to learn more about it and set up some planning to come down and chill. And
you guys talk about that for a little while.
You can come visit whenever you want. Just give me a heads up.
So on May 30th, HEX Foodies Convergence there in Navajo Nation at Four Corners. Mutton has invited everyone out. On the 30th, we're going to do a sheep herding event. We're going to hike with the sheep for something like 20 miles or so. Tic Nos Pos is the closest New Mexico town, no, Arizona town, right? And we're gonna go from that over to Carrizo Mountain. I wrote New Mexico here, but it's not. It's Arizona, right?
Yeah, it's Arizona.
It's
awesome.
Four Corners, so it's 3 states, right? You got Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, kind of in that area.
Yep.
It's right up in that corner. Yeah. And so that's May 30th.
Yep.
Wonderful. How are the temperature? That's near that area. Shouldn't be too bad, right? Are we in the 80s, 90s about that time?
Here?
But once we gain in elevation, it's going to get cooler, and then the nights are going to get cooler too, because we're going to be hiking upward.
The weather is, last year it was like 100. One of this one girl, she got a heat stroke or whatever. So you got to be prepared. But once you get up to higher elevation, it's cool. It's better to leave early in the morning. But I thought you meant now. It's like 30, 40 degrees, snow.
Right now it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, your hat. I love the idea, like Davin's saying, making your own things where you had the reins on your pony and using your hands to craft things. I think that's amazing. Some of those primitive skills would be great to learn. I know that there's some meetups down in Arizona, rabbit stick, and different primitive skills type things that I've been wanting to get into. So I'd love to learn some more of that stuff. But I know that's not all cryptocurrency and HEX, but still some of those things would be great for a meetup for some classes or some skills or things like that.
Yeah. So Davin as an artist, he drew some pictures for some stickers, but they'll make some really nice jewelry patterns. So what I want to do is I want to make it silversmith, so bracelets, some of his patterns.
So how do you plan on doing that?
Probably with stamps. And we have all the tools. Hey, son. We have all the tools. We have all the tools for all the tools to silversmith to make the bracelet like shape.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you use sterling silver or some other metal?
We like to use silver, but we can use whatever. We've been experimenting with aluminum, stainless steel, copper, nickel. Just depends.
And I saw that JM Bullion, I don't know if it's some other groups will take crypto for gold and silver and platinum and different metals. So that could be a good way to exit the cryptocurrency space into some type of real world or fiat currency, and then you can use some of that gold or silver to make some jewelry.
Oh yeah.
I wonder what format jewelers buy silver in. Is it just like long ounce bars that are just bullion elongated, ready to be melted?
We buy them in plates. They're like square plates, and then you can make your bezel. You shape it around the stone, and
okay.
Yeah, it's mostly plates and just real thin. I think the 12 is the thickest we use.
12 is just a number. Gauge?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's
hat on there, Davin.
Well, that was my construction hat, Reconstructing Society.
I like that.
I got to show it every once in a while. So here's some examples of some little sketches that I've done for him. You know that there's a Hex Bull on Twitter, and he's got an interesting logo. But we were messing with the Hogan overlapping of the wood roof, and then eventually I came up with oh gosh, it logs you out every time. Eventually I came up with this as a sticker or a magnet, but whenever he was looking at my designs that were just black and white, he was like, oh well, these could be turned into jewelry. And so it's kind of, I've got a really good camera for not an easy job. All right, I wish I presented those better. But yeah, just black and white sketches that have little increments of portions of Navajo life that he was wanting to point out. And then because it was black on white, it looked already like lined jewelry, very simplistic. The shapes coming in.
That's sweet. Yeah,
Did y'all see Richard Hart's diamond thing? His pulse chain necklace
Yeah.
that was gifted to him by what was that guy's name? It was the Hex Toys guy. That was absolutely sweet. Did y'all see that video? There's a video of how it was made.
Really?
It was insanely good. It was really well done.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Sandy B is looking. Welcome, Sandy B. Thanks for being here. What were you gonna say, Rogue?
I think that the necklace that he got from someone in London.
Yes.
Like you said, they made that video of that jeweler who made it, kind of the step-by-step process of it.
Yeah. During Richard's last live stream, he made me believe that the guy who made it is the owner of Hex Toys as well. It wasn't just, some random dude. It was that dude has the skill and also is a part of the community. Now, when I went to the Texas meetup, there was a guy in there at the meetup in Dallas who got a jeweler in Dallas, and the jeweler's name is Baseball Diamonds, and that guy did a really snazzy hex thing that was similar to that, but it only had diamonds on one side. And so if you're in Texas or if you're in the Dallas area, you could get a really good deal on a really good piece. Go to Baseball Diamonds in Dallas. Hexagon Tony says it was Hex Toys. Thank you, Hex. So I read a book yesterday. You can get this off of Amazon. Right when you pay for it, it's printed. Because the day I bought this, it actually says in the back here, the day before Christmas, it was printed. This is a hello. This is a pretty dang good book. It lays out cryptocurrency. The whole mental span that you have to go through and understanding that there are multiple things to get into in crypto and how they work. It does a really good job. Kudos to this person. Joakim Yoakum, I suppose. Christensen. Oh, and it only took like 3 days to arrive at my doorstep. So I've got 5 copies here because I read the whole thing yesterday. So I wanted to make sure that I could pass this on to the next person. So I have 5 copies here. I'm prepared to give this to people who are in Finance 1.0 and willing to believe that the future is going to bring new things. And then on the inside, I put a moon sticker and some of the magnets that I've made, so the person's equipped to be a part of the community and feel involved. So I wrote down the other day like Hex Foodies meetups opportunities. January 10th through 14th, we could go down to the meetup down in New Zealand that Hexagon Chief NZ is hosting. And so he calls it Hexagon Hui, HUI, meaning get together. And then over in March 6th through 9th, that's Maddie's meetup in Vegas. over there in Nevada. And that's, once again, that's March 6th through 9th. So that's 3, 6, 9 in Vegas. And then May 30th, shepherding over there with Benjamin Mutton here on the screen. And that's in Navajo Nation. In Navajo Nation, May 30th, shepherding event. We'll be hiking. It's going to be a bit of a hike, so you need to be prepared for that. And like he said, water and whatever else we can figure out in the time from now to then. And then in June, the 12th through 17th, we can do some natural building with Empty Plain, one of our members, up in Montana over there at Wheaton Labs. And so that's on the western side of Montana. Oren will need to, Oren is Empty Plain. He will need to sniff you out a little bit. But me and Benjamin have been up there multiple times before. So we can get you in the door no matter what if you want to join. Whether, Oren's happy about you being a part of the work party or not, we can find a job for you because I'm good friends with Paul. And like I say, Benjamin and I have been up there before. We know the territory. There's always things to do. I explained in the Telegram group that this is a sloped piece of forested land. So that's what you could expect. Natural building techniques upon this land.
Now the post that Empty Plain had on that, there was limited amount of volunteers, but you're saying you could probably get us in if we go up outside of that and we'll do something.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That'd be great.
There's always stuff to do. So Oren's gonna have his task force, let's say, because Oren has his objectives. Right now he's got enough of a shelter to keep the snow out, but not to keep a person warm. And so he's just going to continue to work on that. And the idea is that it's a work trade. So the idea is that Oren's going to sniff you out and then also ask you, like, what do you want in return? Because Oren's going to travel, or he's prepared to travel to your place or help you out in some way. He's a very fair guy, but very, I don't know how to say that, like businessy, there's a fine line.
Yeah, I like that idea of exchange, although we can't always give enough of something, say, to nature, or there's not always a trade for something like that. But with us humans, it's nice to trade some labor and do something and then give back in return if you can for your fellow persons. So that's great. That's kind of why I like that list you had, Davin, on the seeds. So one of those on there was the seed exchange.
That was cool.
And I love that website, the seed exchange. I thought it would be really cool for HEX, or at least the HEX foodies group, to exchange different plants and different seeds with each other. Especially you got, we have New Zealand, we have Arizona, we have Finland. We have all these places now that we have connections where we could try these different seeds out if we could get them to each other or something to that effect. So
yeah, we have Central Europeans as well.
Yeah. Or even mushrooms or the fungus. You got your plants, all of those things maybe could be shared among the group or something like that.
We might start with mushrooms, because can't we alter the environment enough to grow mushrooms all year round?
Sure, yeah. If you get a sterile environment indoors, you could make an environment conducive enough to hitting those spores, to growing them.
So we could just wrap up spores in an envelope. It wouldn't need to be much, would it?
Yeah, I don't know about how they would react in getting them through the mail or shipping if they'd survive. But I think so, right? You have people who ship them in plastic bags.
So you can get them in sport prints, or you can get them in a syringe. They don't I've never got them refrigerated before, so I don't know. I think it would be fine.
Yeah.
Also, you can do the shiitakes, the lion's mane, the oysters, all on logs, or you can do wood chip beds with like wine cap stropharia. That's cool too.
Yeah. It's sweet. And some of those spores like different types
Yeah.
of woods, right? Some of them like hardwoods, either poplar or oak, or different type of substrates, depending
Yeah.
on the fungus.
So how we did it? This was in eastern Pennsylvania. We cut them in the winter because you cut it green. You don't want other mycelium in there, right? So you cut it green, and then you plug it with the straw sawdust, and then you seal it with paraffin or wax or beeswax. That's how we did it for the logs.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's a good idea.
Bit Finesse is hyped up on the need for brain power in the Hexagon community. We're always talking about things that are on the edge. I saw that really interesting tool for shoving, what was it, spores into. So you buy a bag of inoculated sawdust, right? And then it's grown a bit. The spores have populated a bit inside the bag, and then that guy made a special tool to where he could just poke in the bag, and then he could poke into the holes in his log, and it was very easy for him. You remember that one, Mutton?
Yeah. So here's something cool. I don't know which Sepp Holzer book it is, but I think it might be Rebel Farmer or Sepp Holzer's permaculture guide. But anyway, he talks about he had all these logs and they weren't producing fruit, and he's all like, "Well, they're just garbage." So he threw them in the back of his tractor bed. And anyway, all those bumps, and then he threw it over by a creek bed. And like a month later, they produced because shiitakes they need earthquake to stimulate them to grow. So just an interesting fact.
Interesting.
How do you cause the earthquake to get that?
All you have to do is hit your logs with the rubber hammer. So you lay them out under a shaded like trees, your shiitake logs, and then you go hit them with the hammer, or you can throw them in your truck bed and drive down a bumpy road. But I guess for whatever reason they're adapted to earthquakes in Japan. So that
Yeah, the evolutionary process of those came about because of an earthquake. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like they have something dangling, and then that thing needs to be disrupted and pushed up against one of the walls.
Yeah.
See, the fungus and mycelium, that's a whole different entity than the plant world, which I'm trying to be more of an expert into the plant world. And of course, there's a symbiotic relationship between the two and between everything. But I've found that over the years of becoming an expert in herbalism, a whole different entity of fungus and mushrooms is still new to me as I try to learn about it.
Bit Finesse says that as long as he just keeps his things refrigerated, he could come back to it within years and they fruit right up. It's awesome.
Yeah, you feel like a mad scientist when you're like messing with mushrooms. You're like, man, I'm like a mad scientist. Get your lab coat on. You got to get a bath. You got to be all clean. You got to keep everything sterile. You got to Lysol everything. You got to wipe down. You can't be a dirty hippie, you know.
I've got some mushrooms growing on the backside of my house, and that's because that's where I dumped all the mushrooms that came from the packs that I had ordered online back in the day from this Far West Fungi. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Far West Fungi in California, San Francisco. This particular write-up comes in the bag or the box. So So you get a box and everything just grows straight out of the box once you rip the bag open that's inside the box. And so it's just a bunch of inoculated sawdust.
That's cool.
It was a really cool experience. I have this on my desk because I'm gonna buy this or send a pack over to my niece in DC. I want her to experience those not the pearl oyster, the pink oysters. I just think they're so pretty and they'll catch the eye of a young person.
For sure. Oh, hey, Rogue. I was just thinking about what you said. So, like what we're doing with empty plane, we're kind of building our skills, right? We're like hex flexing in a way. Like, so these logs, right? You can sell them for $30 a piece. My friend, he was selling $30 a piece at Mother Earth, and he sold out. He had 30 logs. He sold out a log. So what we're doing is like kind of skill exchange. So it's helping us in the long run. Just thinking about that. So.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So you have the logs inoculated already, and then they sell them. But then you're looking for help to get that done as a skill exchange.
Yeah.
Are we talking about inoculated logs, or are we talking about logs for building?
Inoculating logs.
Okay. And MotherEarthNews.com, is that what you're saying?
I had a friend a long time ago. He would sell at the fair, Mother Earth News Fair. Anyway,
Okay.
he sold them for $30 a pop. So like us
imagine.
learning from like empty plane, we can translate those skills and then.
Yes. On the economy, the portion of demand that hasn't been met.
And I think so. Someone with my skill set for herbalism could show how to make tinctures or medicines out of certain local herbs, because I prefer the herbs that you can grow in your area. I'm not against consumerism. I'm just not a very good consumer, so I don't like to buy someone else's product far away if I can grow it myself in my own land. So I've learned some of the skills with some of the plants locally that I've become familiar with. I can certainly share some of those skills. So that'd be, I love the idea of skill sharing.
Yeah. What would be interesting, an experiment, like if you gathered herbs, I make soap. So we could go to the farmer's market, like on the weekend. Let's say we're in Montana. We'll go to the farmer's market, all of us, just to hang out, meet the locals, and then see if we can sell anything, just for fun. We can pass out hex stuff too. Hex books.
Sometimes, whenever I was up there in Montana, I would go to the local courthouse there in that county, because the nearest town to Paul Wheaton is a county seat. And I'd sit across from the grocery store and just people watch. Across from the grocery store was where this courthouse was, and there were two benches out front. I just watched the people, like, what was it that they were doing? And so like the kids would just be running around on their scooters, trying to do tricks on the curbs, scooters and bicycles. And it's really a really small town. I wonder what those kids have to do during the day. And it's interesting. Like, for the longest time, I've just thought all you got to do is get the right material on a digital device and somebody's mind will just take off. The right avenues.
Well, on the question of what do the kids do all day, I think we kind of have this sense of, well, if they're not in some government school or some teacher is in the front of the classroom telling them what to do they have anything to do? And I think children naturally want to learn. And so if you take the approach of something called unschooling, where they just get out and they find out what they're passionate about, and they'll find something to do, and they'll learn, and they'll socialize. They'll do everything that any child that's socialized in any kind of government or school that's mandatory would do just as well. So I think that the technology certainly has its place. I agree. find something where those kids can jump on there and learn and take off and do something like that. But hey, Mutton, how many kids do you have? Children? How many children? 2. How are you able to find? Are you able to find the ability to travel when you have a family and children?
So there's not a lot of job opportunities on the reservation. So I have to travel to go to work. Sometimes I got to travel 3 hours. Sometimes I got to go to a different state. It's just where the opportunity is at. So usually my partner or the grandparents, they'll watch the kids, and I in the summer I bring my kids. We go on the mountain. I herd sheep, and I can bring my family then, but school kind of gets in the way. I guess if they were homeschooled, then I could take them with me. But
What in what ways have you been able to do your HEX Flex, or has HEX been able to provide an opening or opportunity, something for you?
to be honest, it hasn't. I believe in it, and I'm just like praying, crossing my fingers, like, man, I hope this works. Like, I talk to a lot of people, and it's just faith, I guess. But also, I'm looking at EtherScan. I'm doing my research. I'm seeing, okay, like, what are the T shares? What's going on with this? So
Yeah, totally. I know that in our Telegram channel, we tout if HEX and crypto can bring freedom from financial freedom, then we can work on some of the other things. So it almost starts there. It starts with that financial freedom, which HEX can provide. And now you have the other part of the ecosystem, which is Pulse and PulseX and all these other things. As they continue to grow and bring the financial freedom, we can move on to other things that we have free. We're not spending our time trying to get that financial freedom. So I think keep going at it. And continue to invest whatever you're able to dollar cost average in. That will be great, and that will eventually get you to a point where you can have that financial freedom. Plus, the connections in the community of those who have that financial freedom already. I'm not quite there yet. I'm in that same area. I have that faith, and I'm hoping. But there's a little bit more than faith, right? There's statistics, there's the math, and there's all that part of it that you can see, all the
charts.
the T-shares and the printing of the cryptocurrency and then pulling it out. So I'm a little bit there, but I know that as it grows and eventually the community, we can have these ideas where we're doing, the connection, the skill sharing, the meetups, and all that fun stuff. I think that is part of the financial freedom that comes with it too, is building that community. So I would suspect that in your area and in any other area where we have hexagons gathering together, we're entrepreneurial. We can certainly capitalize on certain things and maybe make an improvement outside of just selling hex or having our bags grow, but just outside of that, being a capitalist. Although I tend to be, of course, more anarcho-capitalist, or more of an open libertarian freedom market, rather than some of the current capitalism, which is mixed with socialism nowadays. But I can see opportunities, certainly.
Yeah, I have been blessed. I am financially secure. Thank you, Hex. I totally agree with what you're saying as far as Hex and the numbers. It works for you. It may not be immediate, but you've recognized a good product, and we are all here because of the product, and it's just a matter of time. And that's why we have people like Kareem and Wales Only, who just put numbers up on the screen and say, hey, it's all math, guys. Now, how it relates to you today in your human life, it's all different for everybody. And, here we are in a Telegram group coming together over our likeness. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that you guys are talking about being over there in Four Corners. I'm thrilled that we're talking about going up to Wheaton's. I'm absolutely thrilled how everybody's communicating with each other, and that's step one.
I had a really nice chat with the Hexican chief, and man, I relate a lot to him, and he has a lot of good things to say. And you know, part of how we gain our freedom, part of how we get out of oppression is economic freedom, right? So
Mhm.
we need to we need to we need to get on that level, and everybody working together, even beyond HEX. Like what we're talking about now is beyond HEX. So like we're building relationships, we're networking. You know, we can all make it together. But if you're just on your own, you're not going to make it. But us uniting our brains, connecting, you know, we can think of ways like, hey, Rogue, I can help you in this way, and he's all, hey, Ben, I can help you in this way, and you know, we're all coming together as a community, which is HEX, but it's also beyond HEX.
Yeah. Again, going back to kind of that skill sharing and the community aspect of it, I'd be willing to pay X for certain skills, certain products that are handmade or something within a community, or maybe not hex, but something that I rotated into something less valuable, because I find the hex product a little bit more valuable to sell. It's so if I had dollars, that's kind of worthless, so I use that a little bit more than I would hex. Or I know that some of the hex ray chat on liquid loans, I'm looking into that. Is that good, where we don't sell anything, we just pull a loan out and then play with some of the less valuable um, cryptocurrency? There you go. Davin's got his hex hat on.
Yeah, I gotta remember to rotate all the cool stuff, you know. Yeah, so never selling your principal with liquid loans. That's really exciting. And you know, we can't talk too much about stuff before it happens. So I do understand that there's going to be a lot of products that make it to where we can do our financial business better, smoother. Once those lines are drawn, then I'll examine them further. But right now, I'm literally like on the outside of it, just loving the product of Hex. We're at 28.8 cents right now. Whenever I met you, Rogue, we were at probably 10 cents in Vegas. And when I met you, Benjamin, Bitcoin had yet to hit 20K, right? It was 2017, July.
Yep.
So it was, Bitcoin was ramping up and Ethereum was just launching. So all this stuff, it's an awesome evolution that you don't know the future. So stick with the stats. And really like evaluate our community, evaluate the creator of Hex. Bitfinesse says that Paul Stamets sells little boxes that you can throw on the ground that sprout a forest. I imagine you could, like, I have this idea. I think that drones can really help us out in gardening. And like, what if we could just drop spore boxes into riverbeds with drones? And of course, this takes a little bit of financial power, but just a little bit. Or maybe they could be inoculated ourselves, and maybe sizable logs could be inoculated and then you know done in this way so that these wouldn't need to be purchased. But Bitfinesse says that he believes this is a fabulous idea. I totally agree. and he jokes about like, what if they're sold in 7-Eleven? Totally. Let's bring everything down to the local convenience store level. What would it take to have the best things at your fingertips at the stores, instead of all that processed crap that's gonna fuck with your digestive system? Excuse me for cussing. And then deter you from the right answers, and maybe even get caught up in our awesome lack of awesome system.
Yeah, when you're talking about your digestive system, I saw your last stream on you had some of that wormwood tincture.
I had wormwood in my hand, yeah. Wormwood complex or complete. So there was more than just wormwood.
Was the wormwood is Artemisia absinthium? Is that right?
Tell me again. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Artemisia absinthium is the wormwood. It's in the Artemisia family, which is what Big Bear was talking about, those drinks, because Artemisia itself is kind of mystical. Most people know the Artemisia vulgaris, which is hey. So the Artemisia vulgaris is the one that is usually safe. It's a burnt, and the absinthium is the one that has a lot of people have hallucinations from it, where they made a drink out of it. What's going on, Hexagon Chief? NZ?
Yo, everybody. Good morning. I just woke up, man. Ah!
It's morning time there. We're hitting noon over here.
Yep. Where'd he go?
Looks like he froze.
So Davin, just really quick on the digestive thing, I think that's the problem with what's going on right now is we're pushing this big pharma thing, right? So instead of everyone getting scared and the authorities are pushing them into vaccines, or I don't know if I should say that word, the V word, right?
Oh well.
You'll get flagged. But they're pushing us into those and into the modern medical technology system that has its purpose, but it isn't for health. It's not for healing. It's not for fitness. And so everybody's running to that, and they push that instead of the healing and the health and the nutrients, which is found with your food, which is found in your own gardening. It's found in the farmer's market. It's found in your own plants, your own medicines, rather than having them push you into this big commercialized pharmaceutical business that they've been doing and making it mandatory, forcing us into it. So when we talk about gut health and the gut biome, if it was up to the authorities, they would give you some pills or send you to some doctors to get that stuff, rather than saying, well, here's how you live healthy, here's how you eat healthy, and have that healthy gut biome and that healthy digestive system.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I've watched them argue science, and it's like, let's go down to like how systems actually work, and let's analyze how I was from birth. I was just talking to my girlfriend the other day about how I had a lot more problems with my teeth whenever I would visit the dentist often. And I've been thinking about this. I've been chewing on this, haha. This idea of how, like, whenever it is that you go and you get your teeth cleaned, then you're completely exposing all the crevices and whatever of your teeth, when quite possibly what you've been eating and the way that your mouth, I have no idea, is situated, is protecting your teeth. Have you guys experienced any of that? Like my girlfriend literally said that she never went to a dentist before 18, and then at age 18 she started getting her teeth looked at, and then she started having cavities immediately after that stuff. She's a little bit of a sweet tooth, I believe, but she takes good care of herself. And so I think there's a little bit of cutting loose whenever you're 18, 19 and you go off to college, and maybe you don't brush your teeth before you go to bed. You just drank a bunch of sweet alcohol, that sort of thing. So I do think that tooth decay could happen, or deterioration of the healthiness of your mouth whenever it is that you're going through college. But I think there's something to this where, like, our dentists are leaving our mouths exposed and not teaching us enough about our mouths because they want to, be the handlers. What do you guys think about that?
I think there's a time and a place for Western medicine, and then there's a time and place for traditional medicine. For some things, Western medicine is good, and then I think there's like traditional medicine, and then also what you guys are talking about is kind of like gut medicine, which is also traditional medicine, because like 90% of our issues is diet. So that's what I think.
When you're talking about traditional medicine, I'm thinking that was the natural path that we should be eating along lines of traditional medicine food, right? And that we've come so far off of it that we would have to have Western to kick us back on a good path to then be presentable in order to run functions in our head. But really, like, we're supposed to be on this what did you call it? We're supposed to be on this higher path of eating in the first place.
I was kind of thinking more like okay, like let's say you get a really bad cut, you need stitches, or let's say you have a bullet, you need to get that bullet out, and that's where Western medicine comes into play. Traditional medicine will not be able to heal you in that way. But yeah,
when I think of medicine, or the way to think about it is, I guess the idea is the 7 rivers of medicine, and on the one side, it's the big river is more dangerous, and it cuts into you. It's there for, like you said, surgery, broken leg, scientific medicine on one end of the big river. The smaller rivers are more healing. They're not as fast. They're not as harmful, and those are the ones that you start out with, the placebos or the school medicine and things like that. But I think you got to watch your language too on the when you say, what can the dentist teach us? What can a dentist teach us? Well, they don't teach us anything. We have to be empowered to teach ourselves and say, it's our body, we're in charge of it. We can take their diagnosis and we can use that, but they can't make us do anything. They can't put us on pills. They can't put us on this and that. And so the idea of when you chatted about why do we come from the dentist and our mouth is sore, it comes from you're breaking up those bacteria that were in your teeth, and the bacteria is coming out. And then so the idea of that is the terrain theory, right? The gut biome. When we want to kill everything in our gut, we're getting rid of the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. But if you have that the terrain theory, which is you want to encourage the good bacteria. So what's going on, Hexagon Chief NZ?
Hey, you've got your mic muted.
Yeah.
Welcome.
More in
Did you have to drive somewhere to get some reception?
well, kind of. Now I had to drive some walk to my car so I could plug my charger in, charge my phone. So when I disappeared before, it's because I didn't plug my phone into the charger. And yeah, so take 2. It was like deja vu when you say, what's up? Mexican Chief NZ. I was like, I'm sure I heard that before.
So the last time you were on the stream, we chatted. I asked a question in chat. I wasn't on the stream, but I asked a question on the constellations, and you gave this cool answer on Orion. Our northern Orion is your Maui, and so yeah. I told my kids about that. I told them the story about Orion and what's it all about. And I said, in the southern hemisphere, guess what it is? I said, it's Maui. And they said, oh, whoa, really? Whoa. And they were all excited about that.
Yeah. Oh, we could also translate it to Maui belt.
Okay. The Maui
Pretty
belt. Yeah.
coincidental. Hmm?
Now, of course, my kids knew all the Disney facts about him being the. I guess he's the god of. Is he the god of the sea? Is that what Maui is from the Disney?
He's actually a demigod, so he's a mixture between the gods and the humans. So his you can kind of equate him to Hercules. Who else? And in many senses, man, this might be a little controversial, but Jesus as well. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm really tired, eh? I've only
I
had like 2 hours sleep.
I always equate Hercules and Osiris and all the demigods and Jesus,
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
them together in the mythological stories. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's it. They both occupied. They. Oh my God. Hold on. Sorry, mate. Yeah, just waking up. So yeah, Maui. He's. Did I tell you that we're genealogically linked to him about 1, 2, 3, probably about 8 and in some tribes he's like 80 generations back, some 60 I've seen. I can't do the names off the top of my head right now, but it's about 26, about 52 if I can recall, and I can't right now. But yeah, about 52 generations back from me, and that's through my mother's tribe. So yeah, that'll do for now.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
I love the stories, the oral stories of our ancestors and where they come from. That's beautiful.
Yeah, brother. Can I say what's up, Benjamin?
Yeah.
Benjamin Mutton, my boy. Yeah.
Good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
You too, man. Who's? I'm just trying to read the names, but they're like this small on my screen.
So Rogue Herbalist is up there at the top. Benjamin Mutton's right above you.
Make our video
Eco Build down here.
Damn.
Make the video big. Benjamin was showing Hexagon Chief NZ his tattoos. I was gonna ask about that, if there's some meaning to some of those tattoos.
Oh, I was showing him my hat. I was telling him I was making a hat. Yeah.
All right. I thought you went like this, and maybe you're just.
I was like, "What time is it?"
Okay.
Benjamin Mutton time, baby. Oh, no, it's foodies time.
Yeah, me and Hexagon Chief had a really good conversation. We're like this, friends for life,
Yeah,
all
man.
of us.
Hell yeah.
It's
All of
bigger
you.
than Hex.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For sure. Did you do a live stream, or you just off the cuff chatted?
It was just off the cuff, but yeah, like it's a revolution. We're starting a revolution, is what we're doing.
Continuing the revolution, man. Continuing it.
The revolution will
continuing
not be
the hell yeah. Oh shit, sorry. Get a little bit passionate in the morning.
So a little while back, Bit Finesse, he liked the idea of seed bombing. So maybe drones with seed bombs. And then we were talking about medicine a bit, and Hex Rockstar. Hey, what's up? I'm glad you're here. He started talking about allopathic versus functional medicine, and then Bit Finesse was talking about the direction we get from doctors and everything, and then he was talking about how what am I trying to say? At some point, he talked about how we need to put everything in our own hands. And so Goodness. He was saying something just like, oh, your diet and checking in with the doctors is similar to your finances and checking in with the bank. So here we are deleting the middleman in the bank. So let's delete the middleman in our health. I thought
The
that was pretty
middleman
cool.
does have some good information, but you have the best information. Only you, but you got to be able to interpret it right, and it's not through words; it's through the feelings of your body. And if you, in my case, I heard the bro Rogue talk about dentist, and I'm not sure if I told you this on the other stream, but a man named Weston A. Price, a dentist. He studied the indigenous cultures around the world. Nobody else is in here, but we turned out to be number one in health because he started all of our. He studied my ancestors, well, skulls that hold our teeth usually. But
Yeah, I've heard
so
about this.
you're the man, right?
And somebody put a comment in one of the YouTube videos that he was very excited that we mentioned Weston A. Price.
Because he's the man. He's
And
the man.
another thing is to roll on that too is the middleman they have really good diagnostic skills, and we can use their
Yeah.
diagnostic skills, but then we empower ourselves to decide, hey, what do we want to do from that information? But we are, like you said, we are in charge of our bodies. We are the empowered,
man.
and they're trained for a certain way. They only know what they're trained for. They can do certain things according to that training, but if you think outside of that box, what is the idea of allopathic? Allopathic is doing something opposite of what the medicine is. So if you're feeling really temperature, if your temperature is high, the allopathic would be the opposite, cool that down. Homeopathic is doing the same thing, so sweating that out. So if your temperature is really high, the homeopathic is maybe continuing those sweats, making it warm, doing the same thing. So those are kind of the definitions of those two types of approaches on medicine.
Very hard to say. Allopathic and homeopathic. Oh, got it on the first go.
Hex Rockstar says that he cured 90% of his autoimmune that's something to know, symptoms with an elimination of diet and supplementation. No drugs, he says. But he worked with a professional. He worked with a professional, and he's a carnivore these days. And
What I did,
right below that,
to recover my health.
Real fast. Hex Rockstar also says that low carb should keep the dentist away, but regular cleaning is good. And then in relation to teeth, he says that he's going to get the mercury fillings taken out soon. I highly suggest that. I got my mercury fillings taken out in 2010 once I realized, or 2009, somewhere in there, once I realized that I could experience autoimmune problems because of that. Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, I was just saying that how I healed myself physically was I used Western A's Price's research. I already knew it intuitively because I grew up, well, at least with half of my ancestor diet. That's what I ended up calling it. What was it, paleo or something? It was really, really fucking huge when it first came out. And my brother and I, he's a CrossFit trainer, and it was through CrossFit that we found the paleo diet, and then found Western A Price's studies, and it was funny because we ended up seeing some of our ancestors in his book. So the connection was, okay, we found this thing called the paleo diet. Our people are actually at the top of the list at the time in 1940s, and we had to find out the details of our own diet within this bloody study. How cool is that, man? So we just changed our diet back to our ancestor diet, and done.
Boom.
Fish, seafood. Oh yeah, that's part of the seafood. But so we got kina, we got paua. Kina is the sea urchin. Paua is the abalone from as the Aussies call it. We have all of the beautiful seafood that's in such abundance here that no wonder why we were the healthiest people on the planet, man. And as it was the people who were here before us, who we peacefully integrated most of the time. They taught us how to gather the food that was here more efficiently. So and also the need to keep the abundance by only taking what you need. And so the food was just so plentiful, you could start thinking about real stuff like not fighting, for one. That's a pretty good outcome, if you ask me. Because as it is, man, when you've got a whole bunch of people living on in a restricted kind of space, then things get a little testy. It didn't happen very often, but like I said, there was so much, and it was really easy to gather, which made us, again, alleviate stress. What happens when you alleviate stress? Peace, baby, peace. Peace happens after you sort your shit out.
Now we gotta talk about the peace pipe then.
Oh yeah, baby. So here's a connection to the peace pipe. Hopefully I can help you connect it in a certain way. But some of my ancestry comes from the Peruvian people in Iquitos. I think I told you on last stream. There's a plant called the ayahuasca plant. But when we come from there, again, part of our ancestry, we come from Peru, South Americas, and then there's a little island called Rapa Nui, and then from there, Rapa Nui, you see all of the Pacific Islands, and then the southernmost island is New Aotearoa, so 15,000 miles of sea. Imagine that. My ancestors sailing all the way down to New Zealand, and we were trying to bring plants to cultivate in New Zealand, and this is over a time frame of thousands and thousands of years. So they understood the currents, blah blah blah, and the environment. So the subtropical environment for this plant called ayahuasca, which I found out the name that my brother and I found out the name through our spiritual journey, or my spiritual journey. He didn't end up coming. Now, the spiritual journey took place on a plane to get to Peru, of course. But there's again, ayahuasca goes only, as far as I'm aware, only in the Peruvian jungle and a place called Iquitos, where I did a 9-day retreat with my man Don Lucho. He took me through the ceremonies, and it's so beautiful because they do the same. The shaman, and the Peruvian jungle have the same, not only look as Benjamin Mutton's wife's ancestors have, but through their songs, there's a connection between the relative pictures of our songs that we have, and this is common for most, if not all, indigenous cultures. So it's through our songs we hold our ancient knowledge, and it's through the brain's ability to hold its information through song. And there's a melodic structure in the song, and it's the minor, relative minor. Yes, I think that's the. Excuse me, I'm really tired. So so when you take this plant, the ayahuasca plant, it induces a hallucination. But it has to be boiled down. They boil it up, and they do the same boiling process right throughout the world. With specific combinations of plants. So the ayahuasca is a vine, and in my culture, we say that i kakeake a tāne ki ngā rangi tūhaha ki runga i ngā marunga ngā aka. That means tāne nui a rangi, tāne being one of the I don't like this word, but gods or spiritual guides. He ascended to the heavens on a vine. Now, this vine just happened to be the most powerful hallucinogen known to man and woman. And so our name for it is aka. The Peruvians' name is ayahuasca. Now, to tie it back, my ancestors tried to bring the ayahuasca plant to New Zealand, but it wouldn't grow because of we're in a subtropical climate. Please fix up my technical words. I'm a bit lost there, but it wouldn't grow in our environment. It definitely won't grow in our environment now because we can't get it through the borders unless I sail it around. But we've already tried that and it didn't grow. So we had to find other plants. But by then we were so well trained, we didn't need the chemical effect in our brains to be induced by the plants anymore. We could trigger it at will. So, and I'd love to get somebody else from another culture to verify this for everybody else. I don't need the verification. I live it. So it's through experience that I know this shit. I can conduct the scientific research if you want for a laugh, but I don't need that. However, so the connection between the peace pipe is we don't need the pipe.
You brought that back around really good.
Phew!
But
I'm not good at that.
When you're talking about
I can take you on a journey, but we don't know where the fuck we end up.
I think a couple things I was thinking about too. When that's in our own body, those substances are in our own body. So, like Paul Stamets would joke, he'd say, "Well, when the DEA, in the United States, the Drug Enforcement Agency, they want to classify certain drugs as a schedule whatever. Well, we're walking Schedule 1 drugs because we have dimethyltryptamine inside of our bodies. We have these substances in our bodies. So I guess we're just walking substance 1 or Schedule 1 drugs or whatever. But the DMT idea, that made me think of DMT because when do we exhibit that in our bodies? Either it's a naturally occurring dump when we're born. It also happens when we have sex, and then at death it naturally jumps out. So those are three pretty important events in someone's life when that happens. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that it also happens in your sleep when you dream. That's the other time it happens as well, but that's also akin to dying as well. So through astro traveling, you also induce the DMT in your pineal gland, or you release it. However, again, my ancestors trained themselves to release it at will. I'm out of practice. I'd give you a lesson in it, but there's a man who would validate it even more so, and his name is Thomas J. Campbell. Now, he's a consciousness researcher.
Yeah, he calls it
That's
transcendental meditation.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, Thomas Campbell.
The man, brother. I got to meet him. Yeah, he's one of my spiritual mentors that manifested right in front of me. I was like, oh my God. There was one man that I was in all of as him.
Yeah,
he's
Gavin, if you post his stuff on the channel, it's called the Monroe Institute, Thomas Campbell Transcendental Meditation, and yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a connection between meditating and releasing that chemical naturally. I'd love to learn more about that from you.
Will both of y'all post stuff in the main chat?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just after this conversation.
Have you got?
I meditate myself. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Devin.
No,
I was just gonna say, so like, there's some stories like, with the herbs. They say that the plants talk to them. They say that out here, but they also say that about the ayahuasca. Like, the scientists were trying to figure out how did they know how to combine this vine with these leaves to make this, I don't want to medicine. So anyway, they're like, how did they figure this out? And they're like, well, the plants talk to us. So that's pretty. Like, there's no way they could figure out the exact chemical. It's like they were chemists, but how did they figure this out to mix these two plants together? So
anyway. And it's interesting too.
Trial and error, bro. Trial and error as well.
Oh yeah.
Don't take that one. He died. No.
When the plants talk to us, we can have a conversation and talk back, and that's what they did, right? They said, "Well, let's try this." So they had that conversation with the plants when they did that.
Yeah, we don't need to think about the conversation immediately happening the way that we assume it would. Instead, it's getting to know your scenario and your surroundings, and then with all of this sensory intake, you become one with that area, and that sensory, eventually you're able to speak that language.
And it's thoughts, it's not words.
Yeah, and whenever it is that if someone hasn't been meditating and they start meditating and they start thinking about things in different ways, they start to realize that they think in their native language, and language just needs to disappear.
You just gotta, that's the conversation we had, bro.
When you formulate thoughts, do you think that thought in a language, or are you languageless in that thought? That's something that's like 101 in meditation, right?
Yeah, man.
Or
get rid of the talking.
That thought of language is also interesting too when you've induced that by an entheogen or a psychoactive, because either transcendental meditation or the psychoactives can both induce that thought, and it becomes pretty mind-blowing as far as language goes.
So what we did is we used the plants as a tool to get yourself there naturally, so if you don't have to use the plants anymore to induce that in your own mind, because it's first and foremost your intention. And you'd know that road through your studies of Thomas Campbell, it's all about your consciousness that allows the induction or allows you to induce the chemicals from the plant, but you first have to use the plant if you haven't already been trained while you're born to help you realize that in yourself. So the only true use of the plant is to train yourself to realize that you are part of the universe, and that the universe is within, not and then without. So my father always used to say that if you looked inside yourself, you would see the same chemical structures in the universe. So therefore, you are the universe, and the universe is you. That's all in English. Well, there was a good English translation, I think. Obviously, he would say it in my native tongue, and I'm not going to say it because I don't want to. It's language.
So Hex Rockstar has been over here in the chat. He's talking about how we could go to doctors in order to get detailed lab tests, so that then we can understand with an IgG antibody test, we can then understand what foods our particular body is sensitive to. I highly recommend that sort of thing. He compliments me on getting my fillings removed early. I don't know how early it is if you've had your fillings in for 20 years. But my father had to go through a huge procedure to get rid of his fillings. I'm talking about mercury fillings here that could cause autoimmune.
Just don't get your feelings hurt.
Feelings.
So you can also. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
I was just going to say, let's wrap it up within the next 10 minutes. Go for it. Say.
So,
what were you going to say?
you can also heal yourself, and again, it's just about using the tools to realize you are the doctor in your own self, so you can use your intention to heal yourself without any actual medicine whatsoever. So through one to heal your immune system is the old Wim Hof. The simple number one thing you can do is think your way to health and then breathe it, or other way around. Either way, you need one to do both.
I think our
Breathe,
brains are. Oh, sorry, Hicks. Go ahead. Oh,
No. Go, bro.
I think our brains are like computers. It's like this. Like what Elon Musk is trying to do. You're just downloading software and you're programming or reprogramming yourself. You're reprogramming the computer to work better. That's what I was thinking.
You got a biological.
Exactly, brother. Exactly.
I think a biological avatar, kind of like the simulation theory, which is what Thomas Hamill or the Donald Hoffman kind of go to on that this is a simulation, and we're in these avatars where if we found out what the code was behind it, we'd kind of be mystified or awed.
Well, every time we're
I'll give you
talking
some
about
listen on that,
healing, every time we're talking about healing ourselves, I think about how the doctor has how many patients? 1,000, and we're our one person who's paying attention to us all the time, while the doctor is not paying attention to you except for maybe an hour when you see them, and then 10 minutes later on, maybe they think about you. But here you are, capable of doing prayer and all sorts of things to enhance your vibration, to get you up to the mode of rejuvenation, or the best quality life that you can have.
Hey, Devin. Sorry.
Hey.
I've just woken up. Nah, like I'm awake now.
I've got 7 different names.
You should, bro. How about this as a suggestion? We could get my bro Tom Campbell on here, and he can. So here's a theory. It's called my big toe theory. the TOE is an acronym for theory of everything. It's freaking amazing, bro. He puts my culture. He's able to explain my culture using science. So it's there. It's right there to be read, and I would recommend his books. And they go, there's sections you won't relate to, but man, it's magic, bro, and you'll understand my culture through a scientific lens, if that's your shtick, or if it resonates with you. But it's not about the language in it; it's about the message embedded and coded in his message. Yeah.
Is there
And the
anything
language.
in video format that may be a little bit
Yes,
easier
yes,
digestible?
yes,
Can you
yes,
post
yes.
can
But
you post
I
that at some
can.
point? Yeah. And then you're talking about bringing him towards
On
us.
stream.
Like I would
Yep.
love that.
Would
And
you?
then and then right when you spoke about that, I was thinking like sort of like he could lead us maybe in a group thought or a group prayer or something.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Damn, bro. Heck yeah. Hell yeah.
Revolution.
Revolution, baby. Revolution and evolution.
Yes. Let's use everything that we have at our fingertips to better our lives.
Oh, this is magic,
Definitely.
bro. This is the magic, man. We can feel it, eh, brothers? We can
Yes, I
feel
can.
it. And then the stream chat. Ooh.
Well, guys, we have done the stream for, let's see, almost an hour and 30 minutes. I think it's a good time to. And what does everybody got on today?
Oh.
What's the plans for today? I'm getting my hair cut here in a little bit. What about you guys? Hey, Hex Chief, how do you guys do that haircut over there? Are you doing it yourself, or do you go? Do you have your friend do it? You do it yourself?
I think.
Straight edge razor,
Yep. Oh,
electric
no.
razor.
Electric razor for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just need it done quickly.
My wife owns a
Yeah,
salon, a hair salon, so
That's right.
she
The kitchen table is where you get your hair cut, right?
she
Oh,
actually owns one now with some employees or some stylists, but so she's got to go out, and there's some skills that she's learning out there in the workforce owning that hair salon. So I need to get some trimming.
Rogue,
yeah. My wife did mine.
Rogue, are you at home today? Are you working from home?
The kids are running around wanting attention.
Benjamin, what are you doing today?
Oh, we're at a rental, so we're just hanging out with grandma.
I really like that Oculus window behind you, and we can
I
see
know,
the
right?
bottom
It's
of the
dope.
roof there.
Yeah, that is cool. It's trippy.
I like seeing those rafters. That's cool.
Look at this guy.
Wow, that looks
Yeah,
like paradise,
bro,
Chief.
that's nice.
It would
That
be
looks
sweet
like-
to go to that meetup down there.
Yeah, I know, right? We'll get there.
Welcome to my tribal land, man. This place is called Harataunga. Te Harataunga o Whakaotirangi. Harataunga meaning the landing place. Oh, you gotta check this out, man. Gotta check this. Can I turn my cam around? Ah, no. I turned it off. Check
yeah.
that out.
You can see the bay.
That's the bay. That's our bay. 10,000 acres of the beautiful, beautiful. Oh my God, I get emotional. I haven't been here for 6 months, man. Check out up on our roof. Solar panels up there. Self-sufficiency. Tiraranga, tiratanga. Sovereignty, independence, freedom. All. We can all do this through HEX and loving each other, man.
Can we bring a bunch of Hexicans down there and just start.
That's what I'm saying. Get your ass here. Get your asses right here.
There's
Right
your
here.
invitation, folks.
Now. Hurry up. I've been waiting. We've been waiting for you.
I'll just go down to Galveston, jump in a boat, and I'll be there in a month.
Yep. And I'll come and I'll welcome you down on those shores down there. Yeah? That's where you'll be welcomed
Do it.
by me and my people.
All right, that's my.
The
I'm gonna
Hexican
research
tribe.
that for next year. Goodness. Okay, guys. Let's call it. Thank you so much for being on the stream. Every Tuesday, noon Central USA, we do Hex Foodies live stream. Everyone's welcome. We're on Telegram at Hex Foodies. T.me/Hex Foodies. Appreciate everybody here. Thank you so much.
Everyone go like this.
All right. Later, guys.
Later, bro.